Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts. In this video I'll be looking at Void Rivals issue 10. Okay, so this is Void Rivals issue 10, the anniversary cover. Oddly enough, I don't know if they've just had a change of the covers or they came out in... This was delayed, so there should be a cover on this end. So, obviously, I think it's Destro on that side. I assume it's just third out, like you assume it's just third out of the month. This is the last out of that month, so I don't know if they just stick the release dates around or whatever. Anyway, um, yeah, not a bad episode issue. So we get a discussion between the two leaders of the various factions on the two sides of the planet. He asks if his son's been killed, and he says no, and he kind of seems to be pleased about it. And he says, "Oh, you did? Oh, I thought we had an arrangement where we were going to kill the son for the good of the planet." And he kind of says, "Yeah, okay, that makes sense." And oh, they've escaped there, haven't they? And the guy refuses to answer, and he kind of turns off this communication. Of course, he's quite pleased his son hasn't died at all. Then we cut back to the fight with Springer and the Hunter Chappie. Um, this is cool again as well. I do love this. I just realised what this is. This is the Transformers sound effects written down in. I love it. It's really nice. If that should be a standard for all Transformers stuff. Um, so yeah. So then we get them cut to the two other people, and they are. He's just found that kind of flash drive thing. Handroid says it's ancient. Don't know what it is, and she kind of wakes up to basically knock it out of his hand and says, "Oh, okay, I'll just put it back then. That's it." Um, Springer actually manages to defeat the guy by turning into his kind of helicopter mode, jumping in the air, comes crashing down on him with the two blades. Um, but when they look back, he has wriggled off. He's managed to cut his arm and leg off, and he's disappeared. And he said, "Oh, he's not going to get too far if he on that. That's fine." So, transforming into his vehicle mode, um, he goes into the bunker, and they kind of make their way down into it, and he kind of explains, "Oh, what's all this?" He said, "Well, this is about 100 years ago. I crashed here. This is stuff that I've kind of made out of my ship, um, and it's kind of." And I don't quite know what it is. I assume it's got to be something to do with it. It's obviously energy production, as you can see there. So I assume it's energy production to basically keep himself working. Where's he getting the energy from? I don't know. I assume he's drawing it from the ring. Um, and this is the bit that is I originally thought was a really cool idea, and then I've kind of thought about it a little bit and thought, yeah, okay, kind of I would have done that differently. So basically, he says, so he takes his helmet off and says, "Oh, can you send it to your friend?" You go, what's that on your head?" "Oh, that's my mind's eye." And he says, "Well, that's an Energon port." And she says, "Well, did she have one of those?" He says, "Yes, it's slightly different." Okay, that's fine. Now, I can't believe out of the history of these alien races, no medical doctor has kind of gone, "You know them strange jewels there on our heads? What do they actually do?" "Oh no, don't worry about it. It's fine." They should have known what they were, but maybe they would have worded it differently. So the idea, it's like, okay, these are the kind of like energy siphons or whatever that we use to heal each other or whatever. And he said, "Well, that's not doesn't use that type of energy. That uses energon. That's an energon port." And then it would kind of like make some explanation to it. I get the impression that they're all born with them, or they're implemented to like a really early age. I don't know, because again, it's very very vague. But the idea that if they've implemented from a really early age, surely no one's just slapping them on the front of all the kids that get born and just go, "Well, we don't know what to do, but we've been doing it for ages, so we'll carry on." So that's a weird one. So you would come to the same conclusion that it's an engine port, but they would know that it did something, and Springer would kind of say, "Oh yeah, but that's whatever you call it. Why call it an engine port?" Anyway, she's free floating in space, in kind of like her mind's eye as stuff's going on, and it looks like she's basically trying to talk to Zerta, which obviously is the god of um, the Zertonians. Um, and they use Energon to basically recharge her. They fuel her back up using this Energon port, and it seems to be that Zerta. So it says you're organic, but your physiology is elements of a synthetic nature. It's Cybertronian origin. Um, the Sacred Ring itself is an origin, and they talk about Zerta, and she said, "Oh, I know Zerta. That's Zerta Trion." And it's like, okay, so that's definitely a Transformer. You know, it's definitely a Cybertronian. Um, Now, my original thought was when I was saw this thing, actual a link to the Cybertronians is that Zertonia was Unicron. Um, with obviously in the Transformers movie, he's got that kind of ring outside of him. Now I'm thinking it's Zerta. Maybe Zerta is like a because I remember we had the point in the Transformers lore in the old ones where we had like the good Transformer turned into Cybertron and the bad one and become Unicron. Maybe Zerta is being either is sleeping, or maybe the ring is what is keeping Zerta or Zerta Trion locked in her planet form, which would kind of make some kind of sense. Is why they're so um, massively important about trying to keep it running and make sure that's the kind of the combination between the two races is that they're kind of keeping the ring going. And it also explains about energy and all this kind of stuff in the first issue as well. So Zerta Trion being the actual planet itself is a possibility. Um, so they head back out onto the planet's surface and say, "Oh, don't worry about it. If that guy's here, we can take him out. That's not a problem at all." And then they get out there, and instead they've now sent down an entire battalion of bad guys with tanks and all this kind of stuff as well. So we're obviously going to get some more combat in the next issue. So yeah, I like this one. This was a good one. This was it again. It's just, apart from that little thing about kind of like Nosatonian would have looked at this thing and go, well, why is this thing on the head all the time? That's a bit odd, and I would think it would have been better off explained to being like, oh, this is this and this is what it's for, and Springer going, well, that's not what it's really for. It's actually a Energon siphon. That would make more sense. So, but yeah, good stuff. Again, it brings everything closer together to the Cybertronian universe and everything else as well. Obviously, hopefully, and this is a prediction purely based on the cover and purely based on what we saw in the Energon special, maybe Hot Rod is going to show up to help defeat the tanks, which would be really cool. And then they might be able to get off the planet, because again, we've not been funny. We have been on this on the Ring of Zertonia now for like 4 or 5 issues. So they've got to get away at some point. So yeah, but yeah, another decent addition to Energon Universe. I believe the next one we have coming is, what is it? Must be Transformers, I believe, at some point. So yeah, so good stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about this one. So thank you very much if you made it this far through the video. I very much appreciate it. If you did make it this far, like and subscribe would be very much appreciated as well. And hopefully I will see you on the next video. Thanks very much. Bye bye.